watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vasquez. You're watching Basement Politics with Vasquez.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to talk about the Board of Elections, my visit and discussion with Tom Meier Jr., as well as City Council meeting that occurred this evening. Budget meetings, budget season. What are they discussing? And this is important, although some of you may not care. According to one lady, I don't speak for her, although I thought I was speaking up for the taxpayers. Don't you want to know where your money's going? I do. Why not you? They obviously are a supporter of the current administration. I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Thank you for joining me. If you are, thank you for watching after I go live, because many people watch the show afterward, as some do not want others to know that they watch. And it's okay. I don't need you to watch live. I just want you guys to support and share. It's very important, the information that I'm presenting. And by the way, sometimes I post things and it's not really for everybody. You may not understand it. You may say, what is this guy talking about? But the individuals that I'm meaning to post for know exactly what I'm talking about. So excuse me for that if I tend to confuse people sometimes. They did try to compare me to QAnon, that conspiracy theory thing, which I think is a, lie created by our own government to fool people. However, I'm going to go ahead and say those are Q drops that I'm posting, all right? Q drops. Today, folks, the city council had a budget meeting. The engineering department, as well as the traffic department, they're asking for money. They're discussing the amount of money that they're requesting and what's being proposed and why are they in need of this money. And they spoke about it. The total budget they're proposing is $3.6 million for the fiscal year of 2024, although they requested a $3.9 million. $2.3 million will go to the engineering department. $1.3 million will go to the traffic engineering department. And get this, 90% of that is going towards salary. There's a small amount on overtime and a total of 17 new jobs proposed. Well, technically 18. One is being funded by a grant. 90% going to salary. Yeah, this is the issue, folks. This is the problem here. And this is why that article came out not too long ago in regards to the nepotism and Mike Spano, the amount of money. And I'm hearing that it's more, closer to 30, 31. I'm hearing that number is more like $6 million. So when that comes out, we'll touch on it. But now I want to speak on this meeting tonight. I wanted to really talk about the questions and the commentary that our city council members were trying to, give questions they asked. And I mentioned this, sometime last year about the meetings. They would never ask any questions. They just stood there. They didn't have any comments, any questions, and they would adopt everything 7-0. And so I said, why don't they ask questions? The people are watching. We want to know what they're talking about. Do you not question anything? Rubber stamp, rubber stampers. That's what they are. Anyway, first up to bat is our lovely councilwoman out of the 1st District, Shanae Williams. Shanae Williams. Let's see what she had to say. What were her questions in regards to this important meeting that they had tonight?
Thank you. We will open the floor for questions, and we'll start with Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you to the engineer team for being here and for your presentation, Mr. Summerfield. And thank you, Scott, as always. I have just a few questions. I see, so the equipment line that Scott just talked about, you requested over 500,000 to the administration, but only 124,000 was actually proposed in the budget. Can you tell us what equipment you may have needed that you will have to do without?
Did you hear her question? They requested $500,000. But what they actually proposed in the budget was $124,000. So her question is, what equipment will you have to do without? I mean, weren't you in that meeting when you went over the budget with the mayor? Did you not ask that question then? And why is she asking them as if like she is upset that they're not going to get certain equipment? What are you going to have to do without? We have to make sure you get all the money you want. What is the point of this question?
Yeah, Councilmember Williams, I just want to let you know, the appropriation class says other equipment, but there are items in there. It's a little bit of a misnomer. You know, construction is also under the 200s. So I think the line you're referring to is actually a construction account, even though it's under equipment. It's a little bit, it's a little bit of a misnomer. That's why they put it in the class. So I just
So the bulk of it is really for construction.
correct.
It's not like physical equipment that you might need for the work that you do. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, yeah.
Okay. So how does that affect your plans with, with your department and what you need to do with such little budget for construction?
Like, she doesn't even know what they're needing to do or what they need the money for, but she does know that it's such little budget. Like with Shanae, like, why do you care? You don't even know what they're doing. How do you know how much money they need? We need to cut back costs, Shanae. The city is in a $2.4 or $2.94 billion debt. That's what we're carrying. We don't have any surplus. We're in debt. So if we can save money, Shanae, we can save just about $400,000. Why not? Why are you like, I don't get it. Why is she like wanting to spend money?
Right, so
she doesn't even know about.
This is actually it augments the capital budget that we get. There was and for the first time last year, we had $500,000 in for emergency construction. That's really what it was. And again, that was rolled over for this year for $500,000. The number was reduced to $100,000. It's in addition to the money that we have in capital. So we have capital requested funds for drainage improvements and emergency construction work or public right-of-way work, basically, which is general, largely drainage improvements, sewers, etc., street work. There is the paving capital that we get, so that's another part of our funding. And then there's bridge work, and then there's sanitary and storm sewer work throughout the whole city, which is another couple of $1 million. So we have that capital money. This was to handle unspecified and project, items as they.
And since I know we're going to have a separate capital budgets meeting, but since you just brought up capital budget just briefly, and I know that in your capital budget you have funds specifically $1.5 million for bridge rehabilitation. Is the bridge off of Woodworth? I think it's Babcock Place. I think, right? If memory serves correct. I'm so bad at the names of streets, but Babcock Place, that bridge, is that on your radar for any rehabilitation in the coming years?
Well, we did Babcock. Maybe you're thinking of a different bridge there, because we just finished Babcock.
He said we did Babcock. Maybe you're thinking of a different bridge. Like, this is the problem. You folks up at the county at District 16, do you really want to vote for someone who doesn't even know what's going on? We did the bridge already. I knew that. I saw them working on it. She doesn't even know what's going on. This is why I want you to hear these questions.
Right, right over like maybe it's Alexander Street, right? But it's Babcock, right? And that was rehabilitated.
Yeah, that was finished. I guess, was it finished this last year or just the end of the year before? It was finished in 2022. So we put there was a new deck put on that bridge.
Okay.
Doesn't look that good? It should look pretty
I pass
good.
there all the time, and
That's
it looks.
disappointing.
Is it just me?
It's you. It's definitely
It
you.
was close, but it doesn't look like anything was done to it.
Yeah, I mean, you might not, the deck
I
was
wouldn't notice
replaced.
the work that was done. but it
Right, the
wasn't-
problem was the deck was cracking. We had longitudinal cracks along the deck. So we had to replace the deck. Strictly speaking, we're just responsible for the wearing surface of that bridge because it's over a railroad, and this particular one is the railroad's bridge. Underneath that, they have these concrete box girders that hold up the structure. Unfortunately, because it's just a concrete slab, it's like an 8-inch thick concrete slab. The wearing course is basically the 8-inch thick concrete slab. So we ended up being on the hook for that. Now, we actually got a grant from the state DOT to cover the rest of that. So we replaced that.
Those were not touched yet.
How we can beautify that bridge too, because it looks.
You see when you're driving, and those were not touched.
Okay, maybe I'm just, because maybe we need to talk to maybe DPW or Parks or see how we can beautify that bridge too, because it looks terrible. Maybe that's what I'm seeing, because I didn't go under the bridge to see the work that you guys did.
Oh my God.
So thank you for that update.
She didn't go under the bridge. She's not in trouble.
Back to other questions that I have. Okay.
Shanae. She said the bridge looks terrible. That's that bridge that goes in from Woodworth. Is it Woodworth? I used to call it Woolworth, or the Wool. I don't know. That goes from there to Alexander Street over there. It leaves you off right there by where the MTA bus depot was. That now Xtel took over, and they're building over there. The bridge is a bridge. I mean, I'm glad they made it safer. But she wants to have DPW in the parks beautify it, right? So she wants to bring a big mural. That's what she cares about. What about the constituents down the street from there that are having an issue with those 2 towers they're going to build right in front of their property? They have been complaining, and you haven't said anything about that. But you care about beautifying that bridge. They don't care about the bridge. Have they called you about the bridge? What about the owner over there on Orchard Place? Still, and by the way, Shanae, that's a right-of-way. Those cars need to be removed. I went to the building department. I figured it out for her. So I would like a piece of your salary for that time that I was there. And we have the survey. That's a right-of-way, Shanae. And so that's what you should be focusing on, helping that constituent, a property owner who owns one property, not these big developers. You want to beautify that bridge so that the developers over there who are building could attract people and show these nice pictures of their developments with a beautified bridge over at Babcock. But what about the people who are fighting those residential 32-story towers? That's what they care about, Shanae. Has anybody called you about that bridge? Unreal, man. Unreal. I'm going to skip over to Tasha Diaz. I don't want to be here too long. Tasha Diaz, she wants to screw us over. She wants us to have to pay more tickets. That's what she wants. She wants
words
more
for me
speed.
too.
Yeah, we're waiting on an actual schedule for that, but they've promised that they're going to come down and
on Van Cortlandt and McLean.
Yonkers Avenue, and then of course, going on to.
Sure. Does that work?
On speeding, so will the two combine? So will that speedometer also be in conjunction with the police department? Will they be aware of excessive speeding in certain areas, being that those radars are placed in those areas?
Not generally. They're used as a deterrent mostly, but we can generate reports from them. And if we do find that we have, and these can be moved around all over the city. So, if we do find a location that has a very high rate of speed, we will certainly give the enforcement report to the police, and they'll do some enforcement out there.
Yes, because we got a couple of complaints from Riverdale Avenue with the speeding. Wherever there's a straightaway, we find, or newly paved roads, we find that people use that as, a speed.
So Tasha Diaz was asking them, are they going to put up more speed cameras? Because she finds that people have been complaining on Riverdale Avenue, wherever there's a straightaway or wherever there's a newly paved road. And I think maybe that's just because people are happy to finally be driving on a road that isn't going to damage their cars or their front end. And so they want to just enjoy it while it lasts, Tasha. But why are you more concerned with more speed trap cameras than the fact that there weren't enough cameras to capture the individual that killed 16-year-old CJ Hackett. Stephen Dolan was the city employee who was driving drunk, who hit 16-year-old, killed him that night last year in August. Police officers initially told the family that there were no cameras. They could not find footage. And very recently, they went back on that, and they have footage. However, it's before the incident and after the incident, but not the incident. There are cameras there. Plenty of cameras. So why aren't you talking about that, Tasha Diaz? The fact that the city did not have cameras to catch a drunk driver who killed a 16-year-old boy. What about the drunk drivers here in the city of Yonkers? The drunk drivers who work for the city. What about them? Because they told me I was lying, I was bluffing. Freddy, you don't have any pictures or video. I do. This DPW vehicle here is in the parking lot of a bar. After work, Friday night. That same DPW vehicle then is driven an hour up to Purdy's, upstate. I would imagine that the individual driving the car is intoxicated. But I'm going to just leave it at that for right now. Think about what you're doing, guys. This is after Stephen Dolan killed CJ Hackett. You're still going to go to a bar in a city vehicle and then drive home? Tom Tiedemann, your son serves the alcohol there to these individuals. He should know better, being that he's your son, Tommy. But they don't care. These individuals are very entitled. Father and son teams all over Yonkers, right? Well, today I was up at the Westchester County Board of Election speaking to another junior, Tom Meier Jr., the son of Tom Meier Sr., who is the chairman of the Yonkers Democratic Committee, who is the commissioner of DPW. DPW, you know, the place where people go to get a job after they have campaigned for the mayor or they've written enough checks for the mayor. You know, that's their resume. How many checks have you written? Oh, you got a great resume. You're hired. They'll start you as seasonal unless you've donated a lot or you've brought in a lot of funders, like certain individuals. You'll get away with anything. That's what Akeem does. He does fundraisers for the mayor. He brings in a lot of money. You can drive drunk. You can hit someone. Doesn't matter. We don't care. We're going to give you a raise, in fact. And we're going to hire your family, too, because we like what you do at these fundraisers. And so this is what this nepotism and patronage thing is all about. Sure, there's a lot of tax money being funneled into the pockets of these individuals, but it's also presented a danger, a threat, a safety hazard to the residents of the city of Yonkers. And there have been times when people have been killed. What have been the consequences? Nothing. These individuals are very entitled. And so they're all working hard now to ensure that the current administration stays in place. How do they do that? By cheating the elections. It's quite simple. It's an election cartel, an election racket. They have a stronghold on the Westchester County Board of Elections. And unless we have federal oversight this year in the elections, we cannot have any faith that they're going to be legitimate. This is just a fact. Tom Meier Sr. is the chair of the Yonkers Democratic Committee. His son is a fourth vice chair of that same Yonkers Democratic Committee. His son just recently got a new position at the Westchester County Board of Elections. Director of IT? What is he exactly doing? I assumed he was the deputy commissioner because according to a candidate who was running here in one of the elections, he presented himself as the deputy commissioner of the Board of Elections when he sat in on a hearing, a semi-formal hearing, as he described it, one which a gentleman by the name of Zahi Jerris sat in. And he was the guy that actually was there challenging those petitions, not Alex Diaz, the guy whose name was on the challenging form or whatever you call it. Alex Diaz is the husband of Tasha Diaz, woman running for re-election. The woman who wants to put more cameras to catch you speeding, but is not concerned with cameras to catch drunk drivers who have killed 16-year-old boys. The woman that killed the affordable housing ordinance, that brags about all the food that she distributes, but does nothing else to benefit the people that she represents, nor the people of the city of Yonkers. She has brought shame to this city. In many meetings, she has lost her composure, if she's ever had it, and has screamed on constituents, calling them beggars. Beggars. That's right. That's how she talks to people here in the city of Yonkers. She feels superior. Everyone else is beneath her. She has cursed out other council members and threatened to fight people. And according to Vinnie Spano, assaulted her stepfather. This is what continues to go on here in the city of Yonkers and will go on in Westchester County if we don't put an end to this at the Board of Elections. Surely, at the very least, there's a conflict of interest that Tom Meier Jr. is working there as the director of IT. And what is that exactly? Well, I'll get into that in a minute. Let's hear what Tom Meier had to say when I went up there today to ask about Zahi Jeris sitting in on this hearing. He walked in, Tasha Diaz and his son walked out. He sat next to Hector Santiago and his campaign manager. He brought out his notebook and he went through the petitions. Every signature he questioned, Tommy Meier Jr. and the commissioner who was recently named, well, about a year ago, named commissioner back in February 2022, Miss Nelson. They just went along with everything Zahi said. And in fact, Zahi once called Miss Nelson, the commissioner, his girl. At least that's what he called her when he was speaking to me about her. He told me to go see his girl at the Board of Elections. So are the Board of Elections compromised? I believe so. But listen to the conversation here between Mr. Tom Meier Jr. and I.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, whatever the questions are.
Sure.
If I can help them, I can.
Yeah, obviously, right, with, elections coming up and stuff like that, there's been a lot of concern with election integrity. People have been reaching out in regards to forged or petitions that they didn't sign, although their names are on these petitions. And so very recently, I was informed that Zahi Jeris actually came in here in place of Alex Diaz, the guy that challenged Hector Santiago's signatures. And I was wondering, is that okay, first of all? Doesn't it have to be the guy who is the one challenging the petitions?
So these are hearings that you're talking about. This is what you're saying. You're saying
Right.
that he came in here.
Yeah, he came in
For a
here.
hearing.
He pulled out his notebook.
For a hearing for notices, the notices are sent to the objector on file.
Right.
But anybody can come to the hearing.
Okay.
So the candidate can come, sometimes the candidate doesn't come, sometimes an attorney comes, sometimes the sister comes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the hearings are semi-formal in a way. So any representative of that person's can.
Oh, so anyone that's a representative.
More or less a representative.
A representative.
So if you were running and your wife wanted to come.
Right.
She's not the objector, she's not your attorney.
But she's my
not
wife.
the candidate. Well, let's say your friend.
Okay. So he says anyone could come. Anyone of your representative. It doesn't have to be the person that's actually filing the objection to the petition. Anyone could come off the street and say, I represent this person who filed the objection, who is challenging the petitions, and I'm going to sit here. But why would they allow a man like Zahi Jeris, a criminal, two-time felon, convicted for fraud, cheating, stealing, tax evasion? That's cheating. That's fraud. He was also involved in a ballot forging of signatures with Anthony Mangone for Nick Spano. His sister, who I affectionately call Susan 18 Ballots Salem, because she mysteriously found 18 ballots to help Nick Spano in 2004 beat Andrea Stewart Cousins. She would come back 2 years later to win because she made a big stink about the cheating. And there was federal oversight. There was a lot of eyes on that election. Therefore, Zehi Jeris and them cannot cheat. But they have been cheating elections forever now. That is his power. That is Zehi Jeris's entire business model. People go to him when they want to assure a win here in Westchester County. He does it many ways. And one of those ways is by implementing or putting in moles, I should say, M-O-L-E-S, moles, people that will do what he says in various positions, like the commissioner, like the director of IT, the guy who's going to program all the voting machines. Can we trust Tom Meier Jr. to be involved in the programming of our voting machines?
Still come.
Really?
Here, because they're representing you.
And is there some formal, documentation showing that this person is representing this person, and that's why they're allowed to go? Do you ask for anything to state that they're representing that person?
There's no official document that would say, hey, your friend Chris is representing you at the hearing. They would come, and in my experience, this is all new this year. So the hearing is a brand new function of the board, of the state board this year. So that's why a lot of people are, what's going on? What is this? Because this is something new that the state applied to us. To have this hearing with the commissioners.
So he's talking about this hearing as if I don't understand the process, which I'm not saying I know it very well, but that's not my point. I'm there because I want to know, how is it that a man like Zehi Jeris, who was convicted of bribing a Yonkers City Council member, a majority leader, causing her to flip on her vote a la Tasha Diaz. She went to jail for 6 years. He went to jail for 4 years. And very recently, a gentleman by the name of Bill Serratori, who was recently hired by the mayor to a $48,000 a year position as the Sustainable Development Coordinator, is being investigated by the Westchester County DA for fraudulent petition signatures up in Mount Kisco. He was endorsed by Tasha Diaz, who is managed by Zehi Jeris back in 2021 when he ran for or wanted to become the chairman of the Westchester County Democratic Party. He is a member of a Northern Westchester Democratic Committee coalition. This is a very powerful Democratic coalition that any candidate can have on their side. Will give them a huge boost in the county if they're interested in becoming county executive. As we have heard, Mayor Spano's rumored to want to become. He's rumored to have these aspirations. He's toyed with the idea. He created a committee. They want to move on the county because they want to go elsewhere outside of Yonkers. There's a lot of real estate deals to be done, folks. All that development is going up all along the Hudson. Mount Vernon's getting ready to burst with developments over there. And the mayor has been criticized in Mount Vernon heavily by the constituents there. She has a connection to Yonkers. She worked as the executive director of the YMCA, an organization that is very close with the city that receives all the money the city has for nonprofit organizations. Every single time, $500,000, $1 million, $5 million. And so is there a connection with the mayor there, who once had an event at the Castle Royale here in Yonkers, the mayor of Mount Vernon, and his Nick Spano got his fingers and hands there with his lobbying firm, Empire Strategic Planning. This is all part of this organization. Zehi Jeris is like the underboss. He manages the street level soldiers. The capo, Nick Spano, is the Don. He needs a middleman, a go-between. That's Mr. Vincent E. Spano, the city clerk. He speaks to Zehi. Then Vinny goes and speaks to Nick and Mike. That's how they do it. That's how they insulate themselves, try to keep themselves away from direct, criminal activity, direct involvement. Zahi's willing to get his hands dirty with his crew, and he's willing to throw a bunch of people under the bus. Some of them may be unsuspecting, or at least they want to pretend to be. I don't think Tom Meier Jr. is so unsuspecting.
To review your objections in a manner that follows this new state law.
All right.
So that's why there may be some confusion about this, especially the people that have been around.
Well, I think the confusion for a lot of people is the fact that Zahi Juris is involved. And I think with his giving his past and extortion, bribery, been convicted of this. You know, obviously we know that he bribed a city councilwoman in Yonkers.
I don't
No, okay.
know about all that stuff, but I can still answer any question.
Well, I mean, it's there if you want to read it, and it's on Google. You know, you can Google it. But the point is that he is a convicted felon, and his charges were, you know, political, you know, corruption, you know, tampering with elections, extortion. So, right. So, given his record, right. So, my question is this: why would you hear guys allow a man with that record, a felon, to be sitting in a hearing, being the one to question anyone's petitions? So
that is out of the legal scope of the Board of Elections to.
Well, as a deputy commissioner, wouldn't you say?
Well, not the deputy commissioner.
Oh, what is your role? I'm sorry.
So I'm the director of IT.
Okay,
the director of technical services.
You're not a poll inspector anymore?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's.
I was a poll inspector coordinator.
Oh, it said poll. I'm sorry, maybe poll inspector coordinator. So he's the director of technology, information technology, the director of IT. And what is exactly his role? Right? Is he going to pre-program the machines with Spano votes? Are they going to come pre-loaded? Are they going to be deployed to the poll stations? He says that his job is to do voter outreach. I'm not sure how the director of IT does voter outreach, I guess. I don't know, maybe. But that's his position, which he got 2 weeks ago. And before that, he was a poll inspector coordinator. Not a deputy commissioner, although, according to Hector Santiago, he presented himself at the hearing as the deputy commissioner. Now, but wouldn't maybe, let's say, Ms. Nelson, you know, have an issue with that? Or maybe say, hey, listen, we have this guy is, known to.
I think that's something you would have to ask the commissioner.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping to see, but I believe she's not here.
Maybe she's not here yet.
Yeah. And then also, in terms of, questioning the validity of somebody's. Sorry, folks, I was trying to turn off my heat in the background there. But he was saying that the commissioner was not there. She's supposed to get there at 9 o'clock. I said, well, where's the commissioner? Everyone pretty much got in there like around 9 o'clock. I have video of it. The footage, the video shows 8:54, parking lot pretty much empty. By 9:05, it was full with people coming in after 9. I walked in there. The receptionist was still taking her coat off. Like, what's going on? That's a disrespect to taxpayer money, to the process. You can tell they don't care. That place needs to be investigated. The fact that Zahi Juris called the commissioner his girl is a problem. The fact that Zahi Juris can walk up in there like he owns the place and sit down and challenge everyone's petition is a problem. The fact that Tom Meier Jr. works there, presents himself as the deputy commissioner, was the guy that they got when I requested the deputy commissioner, but tells me that his position is director of IT is a problem. His father, the chair of the Democratic Committee. Hey, Republicans, any Republicans out there that might be somewhat concerned? Any of them? His role is to make sure the mayor pulls off the fourth term curse. That's what they say. And they're definitely investigating. People are out there looking. They're getting information. They're gathering it. Something's going to come about this. I can tell you that. I can't tell you more.
Petitions that have, been out there. There's people that are signing affidavits stating that they did not sign these petitions, specifically from council members.
So I'm right here. I'm telling him about the fraudulent signatures that were found on Mike Breen's petition. I'm saying, does this concern you? The fact that there are individuals whose name appeared on Mike Breen's petitions, but they did not sign this petition. Does that not concern the Board of Elections? Here's what he says.
For Mike Breen. If, how do we go about that process to kind of put this out there and say, hey, maybe this needs to be looked at?
I don't understand your question.
Well, okay, so people whose names appeared on Mike Breen's petition did not sign that.
Remember the terms that you're using, affidavit, these words that you're using can be interchangeable. If you're more specific.
Okay, all right.
So now he starts playing the word game, right? He's saying, oh, the word affidavit could be used interchangeably. I said very clearly, there were signatures on Mike Breen's petition of people who did not sign. What is that? That's fraud. Are you not concerned? They're willing and have signed affidavits stating that they did not sign those petitions. And so he's playing this game with me.
So, okay, Mike Breen.
There's three types of affidavits.
Okay, no, but let me just say, I'm gonna start over. Mike Breen has petitions, right?
Correct. He
submitted petitions. There are names on those petitions of people who did not sign. They said they don't know how their name got on there, and they're signing affidavits to state that that's not, I didn't sign.
Got you. So that type of affidavit
Right.
to swear that whatever the thing is, that type of
Right, that Mike Breen has my name on his petition and I didn't sign.
Understood. So, and what's your question about those affidavits?
How do you guys look into that? Or would you not be concerned, or the board be concerned about that? The Board of
It depends
Elections?
what the affidavit is. If you're saying specifically that this affidavit.
So
is
let me
saying
ask you
I
this,
didn't
if a
sign-
person didn't sign their name on a petition, right, but their name is on that petition, what do you call that?
We don't call it anything at the board. This is why we have objective.
So I asked him, I just want to ask him flat out. And I said, if a person's name appears on a petition and they didn't sign that petition, what is that? What do you call that? Right? I'm calling it, fraud, forged signature, forgery, right? He says we don't call it anything.
Those are petitioners, right? So
Okay,
we don't make that determination.
as a human being, right? What would you think that is? As a human with a
As a
brain.
human being, I don't have to. It's not on the Board of Elections to do anything.
So it's not on the Board of Elections to do anything if they're fraudulent signatures on petitions? So what is the job of the Board of Elections besides cheating the elections?
Right, but I'm asking you as a person, right?
Well, then I'd have to say no comment.
No
because I don't
comment.
understand
Okay,
the petition.
so I'm gonna
No
explain
comment.
it to you, since either you don't want to know or you don't want to understand.
You're asking very specific things that like.
His petitions have fraudulent signatures on them. Who do we bring that to?
Oh, there's a whole process for that. So we have a filing date, we have an objection, general.
But this is not about the petition being maybe done in a manner that's not correct. This is about fraud.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
Right? We have a petition process.
Right.
We have a submission of petition deadline.
Right.
We have a general objection deadline.
No, I understand that.
We have a specific objection deadline. We have a hearing.
Right.
We have the opportunity for petitioners or objectors to go to court.
Right.
Okay, so what you're saying is, what's the process for that?
No.
And that's the process.
I know the process. What I'm saying, does that not concern you that fraud is being committed?
Funny thing is that a lot of people don't understand fraud cannot be judged or ruled by.
So I'm trying to ask him if he's concerned, right? I just want to know, are you concerned with the fact that there's fraud being committed on these petitions? And I'm telling you, it's a fact. And he says fraud cannot be judged or determined or something. He's like now trying to avoid the fact that I'm showing him or I'm telling him that this is a fact And are you concerned? Is there somebody I should go speak to about this? Because this is beyond the process of, hey, I'm challenging these signatures. They're incorrect, right? No, this is a problem. Like, this could be all over these petitions. It could be all over Tasha Diaz's. It could be all over the mayor's petition. And maybe somebody ought to come in and review all of these petitions. Because that presents a problem to our elections. We don't know how many more fraudulent signatures there are. There you see what's happening up in Mount Kisco in the mayor's race there. That's what Bill is being investigated for, fraudulent signatures. So who is doing this? Who's the common denominator here? Well, Mr. Zahi Jeris, the criminal, the felon, the guy who's known for this, the one everybody seems to know is around, but don't ever mention his name or ever say they associate with him, but they associate with his family. I know his wife and his son. That's the guy that's corrupting our elections, the one that the Spanos allow to engage in politics because he helps them win. They're concerned. They don't want to go against Zahi. Sure, they may have more money than him, but he can rig elections that can cost them a seat and weaken them. And so they formed this unique bond. And it works for them. But it doesn't work for the residents. It doesn't work for the voters. It doesn't work for the taxpayers. And we need this investigated. This guy, Tom Meier, should be nowhere near the Board of Elections. And that commissioner is compromised. Bottom line. And so if you're okay with that as a voter, then never complain about the way things are. And if you're someone who never does, then good for you. I'm going to finish this video.
Board of Elections official.
Oh, I understand, but should you not be concerned, though, that that may be happening? Whether you judge it or determine it or
Are you
not.
asking me about my emotional state?
No, I'm asking about your intellectual state.
My intellectual state?
Yeah, as a
So I'm asking him, how do you feel about this? And he goes, are you asking me about my emotional state? I said, no, I'm asking about your intellectual state, right? Maybe feeling is an emotion, but you know what I'm getting at. How do you think? What do you think about all this? You don't care because you're a part of it. You're a part of the cheating, the stealing, and the lying, and the corruption. And your dad's a part of it. That's why he's the chair of the Democratic Committee. That's why you're the vice chair of the Democratic Committee. He's also a ward leader. And then he works at the Board of Elections. Right along with Tubiolo's mom. David's mom works up there. A Spano wife works up there. How the hell are we ever going to have fair elections, folks? All you folks, hopefully I'm reaching some people outside of Yonkers and Westchester who care about, having integrity in our elections. This should be blowing your mind. If you allow this to spread throughout the county, one can only imagine the level of corruption we're going to see and the amount of nepotism and patronage.
man with the brain. Yeah, because you're playing games with me right now, Tom.
I'm telling you the
You
process.
are. I understand the process, but what I'm telling you is that if fraud is being committed, right, are you not concerned with that?
Are you asking to talk to the commissioner about?
Whoever I got to talk to
All right,
about
so I
that.
think you should talk to her about what you should do that you want to bring to.
No, I don't, that's not what I want to do. I'm asking you a very specific question.
You're not, you're
I
asking a
am.
very general question.
No, I'm asking a specific question. Does that not concern you?
What, affidavits being?
That fraud is being committed on our elections, under petitions.
I don't know anything about fraud being committed on.
I'm telling you.
petitions.
I'm telling you.
Thank you for making me aware.
So now does that not concern you now that you're aware?
It's a concern of the court system.
Not of yours.
Fraud, because the Board of Elections does not handle.
Right, I
fraud.
understand
Yeah.
that. They don't handle it, but
Correct.
should you not, but are you not concerned with the integrity of elections as someone who works?
I'm not concerned with the integrity of the election because of petition fraud, and that's something for the courts
So what would
to be
you,
concerned with.
so what are you concerned with?
Answering your question.
No, what are you concerned, what's your job then, and what are you concerned with as your job position? What is your responsibilities? What's your job title and your responsibilities then?
I told you my job.
Okay, what is it?
Director
Of IT?
Technical Services.
Okay, and what is your responsibility?
My responsibility is for voter outreach is it's a new position, so I'm just
A new position.
acquiring
Okay.
it in the last 2 weeks.
You're just acquiring in the last 2 weeks. So what was your prior
My
position?
prior position was to staff, train, and do the HR for poll inspectors for Westchester County, specifically Yonkers.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I train countywide.
Interesting.
Yeah,
And these people watch the polls at the poll stations?
all across the county, yes.
Interesting.
We have 14 trainers, and we teach the state mandated classes.
Interesting.
And that's what I've done.
Interesting. Well, Tom, you should be concerned with it because a lot of people are concerned with it. A lot of people are looking into it. There's a lot of information that we have uncovered, and we can understand what's happening here. Well, I'm starting to see it. It's a whole operation you guys got
Any
here.
other questions?
No, just letting you know.
Wait for the commissioner to come?
I don't know if she's gonna be here anytime soon. I mean, it's already after 9 o'clock. Should she be here? What's her work hours?
We'll have to discuss that with her and what her.
You don't know what her work hours
Well,
are?
sometimes we're on court at 9 o'clock, so.
Is that where she's
I don't
at?
keep her calendar.
Who does? Who keeps her calendar?
You
Because I think as a taxpayer, we should know.
You
Right.
should, yeah.
All right, so who keeps her calendar?
You'll talk to either one of these.
Because they didn't know where she was at either. They was assuming that she might walk in at any time too. They must not keep her calendar. Ms. Nelson was recently named the commissioner in 2022 in February, right?
Are you asking me the question?
Yeah, I'm asking you. You don't know this?
I don't know the dates.
I asked you questions I already know the answer to. Yes, it was February 2022. By the way, you know what Zahi told me? That's his girl. Do you believe he said that to me when he wanted me to run for county legislator? Go see my girl up at the Board of Elections. But we're gonna continue to dig and find the corruption going on in here. Thank you, ladies. I've had a nice day. I've had a lot of nice days. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a great day.
And that's my meeting with Mr. Tom Meier. You should have seen his face. I wish I could have got a picture of his face. That guy was kind of mad toward the end because he knows that I know. He knows that I know. He knows that I know. He knows that we know that they're cheating these elections here in Westchester County. It's a fact. Mimi Roca, someone said, Freddy, she's not listening to you. She's laughing at you. Okay. Laugh all you want, Mimi. Laugh all you want. Laugh all you want. But this is a problem. We need federal oversight here in the elections. People are uncovering information. This is what they're scared of. They are scared of Freddy Vasquez speaking about the corruption in the Westchester County Board of Elections. Insiders are telling me that is scaring them. And I'm sorry to anyone who I may have gotten your overtime cut. That wasn't my goal, right? The ones that are stealing it, that was the point. The ones that do nothing for the overtime, those are the guys that I was talking about. You know, the people that got overtime, you know, even though they weren't at work during the pandemic. So how the hell did they get overtime? But they still got it. People got raises. So those are people I was talking about, right, folks? So I apologize if that affected you. But listen, we have to be fiscally responsible. We have to watch the money. The city is in $2.94 billion debt. That's what we're carrying. $2.94 billion of debt the city is in. And our elections are compromised. They are being tampered with by Zahi No-Neck Jerris. Zahi Jerris, the man who was already convicted for political bribery, political corruption, bribery, extortion, blackmail. He's involved in ballot harvesting along with his sister, Susan 18 Ballot Salem. How many ballots will she find during these elections? Can we get it to 50? Can you find 50, Susan? Let's see. Or are you even still involved? She used to work at the Board of Elections also. That's where she found the ballots. They were somewhere in the back office. I found them behind the copy machine. Susan. So Zahi Jerris is known by everybody for cheating elections. It's in the paper. You can look it up. You can Google it. Yet and still, the Board of Elections, Miss Nelson, what's it, Tijan Nelson, who supposedly hates Zahi Jerris, allowed him to walk up in there with no problem. He can't even vote. Can he vote? He's a two-time felon. He can't vote, but he can go in there and challenge people's petitions. And I thought felons weren't allowed to hang out with each other. Why is it that Nick Spano and Zahi Jerris get to hang out? What about Paul Adler and Nick Spano? How is it that these individuals get to hang out, these felons? I would say it's because they're white, but it's not. Because I know white felons that can't be around other white felons. It's about class. It's about money. It's about paying off judges who will then write exemptions for you. You are exempt from the law because you have money, and I'm corrupt. And you helped me get to this point in my judgeship. I started in Yonkers. This is the deputy commissioner of the Board of Elections. I mean, I can't take this town serious. I cannot take this town serious. And listen, it's not about being racist because I'm from the hood. I can talk ghetto because I'm from the ghetto. But I expect more from our elected officials. I expect more from our government in Westchester. And I'm seeing more and more unqualified, inexperienced. I'm trying not to say unintelligent because I don't want to come off as mean, but that's a fact. Individuals operating within our government doing us a disservice, folks. I live in another, I technically my residence is Yonkers, but I live elsewhere outside of New York. And the way that the government is functioning in these other places that I've been to, it's like, like this is Nickelodeon. This is a joke. Look at Tasha Diaz, the way she carries herself. Look at Shanae Williams. She sounded like a little girl. I don't know what was her nasally voice, asking the most ridiculous questions. She don't know which way is up. Asking to beautify a bridge when there are constituents literally 100 feet away from that damn bridge who are complaining about the tall towers they're about to build and destroy their property value. Well, maybe Joe Carter will buy it all up, but I doubt he's going to give you market rate because he's been known to lowball the minority property owners here in the city in along Warburton and Woodworth, cheating them out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. But it's okay, because our resident Hispanos for Spanos ain't going to speak up about it. They're getting money. They're getting money. And they can host the mayor in their backyards, sitting in trenches that they dug out with no permits. They're getting money, and they don't care about the Latinos because, again, it's about class. This is the high society. They are entitled. Tom Meier Jr. is part of this social elite, political elite club, and he has a sense of entitlement. It's so bad he doesn't even see what he's doing. He just knows that I'm here to fuck it up. Excuse my French. By the way, shout out to the French for being real men and women and opposing a corrupt and tyrannical government. Check out what's going on in the world. They're revolting over there. The revolution has begun in France. And we here in Yonkers must revolt. This is a problem. We need federal oversight. We need Mimi Rocha to do her damn job. Mimi, I hope somebody sends you my podcast and you hear this part. Do your damn job already. We're suffocating over here under this corruption. It's time for an investigation. Start with the Board of Elections. That place is corrupt as ever. They couldn't even get the numbers out of the machines on election night. These people are cheating everything. So they made up a position. Who approves this new position? The legislators? Yeah, they're all corrupt. My understanding is that Tom Sr. is a guy that Nick wanted to succeed his little brother this year, but Nick was concerned that Tom isn't very well liked within the municipality, so he decided that mayor for life would be taking a fourth term. I don't know Tom, so I can't attest to his likability. Not only is he not liked, but people have told me about his intellect based off his emails. They say the man is not very bright. But then again, I don't think that really is a qualification for anything here in the city of Yonkers. And so that may be right. I think John Rubo was also a candidate. They vetted people because the mayor does not want to be there. The man is one vodka shot away from true liver damage. I'm just saying it's a fact. They're trying to hide that. They're trying to hide the health problems. And that's going to be coming out, folks, because I'm Freddy Vasquez and I have all the information. And as we get closer to June, that's when it's going to be getting good. Because I want to save the best for last. They fucked with the wrong Puerto Rican. I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Call me crazy all you want. You're damn right I'm crazy. Because nobody else that's not crazy will go up against the Spanos. Nobody. Everybody was telling me, Freddy, be careful. They're going to fire your wife. They're going to burn down your business. They're going to firebomb your car like they did to Murtaugh. Although I don't think that had anything to do with politics. Maybe. They might kidnap you for 3 hours off McLean on your way from getting milk. You think I have any respect for you people? The way you've disrespected my wife? I don't care what you have said about me. I don't care. You could have said anything you wanted about me. But you disrespected my wife, my kids, and my mother? And all through this, I'm going to send my condolences, my prayers, and my well wishes to Mrs. Spano, the mayor's mom. I'm not going to disrespect her. God forbid anything bad happens to her, because honestly, I would never wish anything bad, health-wise, death, on anyone. But the things that they have said about my wife and my family and my business, the lies that they've created to try and keep people from bringing their kids to my business so that I can fail, screw you. Screw you. And now I'm going to see it through. I don't care if you shut down my businesses. I'll do it in my underwear, on welfare like Brian Harrod. It doesn't matter. But I'm not going to go anywhere until I see it through. We are going to see it through. You fucked with the wrong one. I don't care how tough you guys think you are. People are tired of it, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the entitlement, tired of the corruption. This woman needs to be investigated. They all need to be investigated. And I'm speaking for all the people who have been afraid, who have been bullied online by you punks and your fake accounts because you are not man enough to show your face. I will give it to Joseph Sage. At least he used his account. Shout out to you. You got balls, Joseph. But not the other punks. They hide behind fake accounts. Joseph is the only one that had a set of balls to say what he had to say using his account. So I will give him that respect. Because the other ones are punks. And think about whatever you want to think about. I've prepared for every which way because people have warned me. I'm not crazy. People are telling you, watch out, be careful. Like I'm going to get physically hurt. This is what people are telling me. So what am I supposed to think? That I'm perfectly safe? Of course I'm going to watch out. Of course I'm going to put more cameras up. The fact that people are telling me this because I'm exposing this corruption is unbelievable. What is happening here? And it's time for us to band together. When they attack one, they attack all. And we need to attack back. Shout out to We United for stepping up for the street vendors and Yonkers Sanctuary Movement for stepping up for the street vendors. The sidewalk got fixed. And maybe Jessica Gordon will resign. And maybe the DOJ will come back into Yonkers and actually take over the Yonkers Police Department after the fact that they've lied about that footage. They're scared and they're hiding something. There's a lot to be looking into, Mimi Roca. I can go on. The people of Westchester, if you guys do not hold Mimi Roca accountable, you will be, I don't want to say the F word. You're going to screw yourselves. Because these individuals are going to then spread throughout the Westchester County, and they're already doing so. Look what's going on in Mount Kisco. That's tied to Yonkers. The things that the people in Mount Vernon are complaining about, that's tied to Yonkers, to the individuals. And they control it all through the Westchester County Board of Election by cheating elections. That's why they so damn cocky and entitled and saying, oh, Mayor Spano's going to win. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. Okay. Either way.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
I'm Freddy Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered, folks. The place where truth lives and corruption dies. They're very sure about this win because they are cheating the elections. That's why. They're very sure about this win. So anyone going against Spano must push for federal oversight of these elections. Otherwise, they're going to cheat them. They're going to be stolen. I want to show you this picture right here. Look, the commissioner of the Board of Elections with the wife of Vinny Spano. Come on now. Come on now, folks. Just the fact that Tom Jr.'s new position came out this fast shows them that they can't hide things like they used to. Add that to those ratting them out. Oh, there's a lot ratting them out. Fourth-term curse, just like the two Cuomos and Andy Spano. There's a lot of people ratting out. I'm getting a lot of people reaching out to me, even more so in the past few days. Thank you, folks. politicwithfred@gmail.com. Here's your time for revenge. Had they screwed you over on a promotion, on a raise? Did they put one of their daughters or one of their sons in your position? Did you get fired because they needed to put Vinny Spano as the city clerk? Then contact Freddy Vasquez at politicwithfred@gmail.com. Give me all the information. Get your revenge. And for the right information, you too could win some money. Ha-ha. Let's get it, folks. Let's take this criminal enterprise down. Don't forget the lawsuit appeal. That's right, they're appealing the lawsuit for the fourth term. Moranti, good job asking questions on the overtime. Continue to ask the questions. I'll piggyback off it, and I'll blast them on here. You know what's going on with the budget, Moranti. Start talking, buddy. Start talking. And when you get subpoena to court, you better talk, buddy. You better talk.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
They say I'm on fire. I'm on fuego. And I'm only just getting warm.
Freddy wins.
The best is yet to come. June, we have a mission. We are in it to win it.
Freddy wins.
I say we, because it's me. It's not just me.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
I love this shit.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vasquez.
I love this.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with Freddy Vasquez.
Freddy wins.
Don't vote for the person that lied to me. Thank you very much. So thank you. In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for the person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
So, you know, that beautiful lady there, Sylvia, they suspended her from her senior community center because of that line there. That's really what it was. They don't like the fact that she speaks out. She's a strong woman. She doesn't take no crap. She knows money languages. She's an asset to the community. She's an asset to that senior center. She wanted to teach Spanish to the seniors there for free. And they said no. Why? Why? This is how vindictive and evil these people are. They attack elderly, they attack women, they attack children, and they do it behind fake accounts. That's who they are. They lie, cheat, and steal, and act so entitled as if they have earned any of it. It was handed to you, and you're still screwing it up. I'm Freddy Vasquez. I ain't going nowhere.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Yeah. Just a product of my environment, you know. Welcome to Yonkers.
5 minutes from the BS.
Whole team sitting checks, hood now and we next. I'm from Yonkers. All of Mary X, on box and no 6. OBG taking somebody's spot. I'm from Yonkers. We can make it happen. Hop in your whip. From Manhattan. I'm from Yonkers. And all the other bros know we real. 914, exit 5, over the soul there.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Good evening, Carolyn. This is Steven Tillert. Sorry that I'm calling you so late, but I just got your number a little bit ago. I actually intended to call you prior to this yesterday, in fact, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So I apologize for calling you later than I wanted to. And in any event, I was calling to apologize for the awful and childish and ridiculous and immature and there's not enough adjectives to describe my behavior. In any event, feel free to call me back at 914-906-2564. If you are willing, I'd be happy and like to talk to you in person, or at least on the phone, I should say. And again, I apologize for calling this late, but I just got a hold of your number. So hope you're well, and speak to you soon.
Apologizing for online bullying of a woman here in the city of Yonkers. That's what this guy, Steven Tillert the Flirt, who is Mike Breen's campaign manager. Why hasn't Breen fired this woman harassing male? Look at his face. Straight testicle face.
Freddy wins. Fatality. Freddy wins. Fatality.
Begging. You're one of them. Begging.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Good evening.
Begging. You're one of them.
Good evening.
Begging. You're one of them.
Good evening.
Begging. You're one of them.
You and I would be the experts. If it were on hot dogs, yes. You and I would be the experts. If it were on hot dogs, yes.
Good evening.
You and I would be the experts. If it were on hot dogs, yes.
Let me tell you, it's a lot of people that spoke today that was against me, and I still help you to this day.
Because he doesn't cover. He only talks trash. We are the real McCoy. We are the original.
I know who the fuck you think you are. Because you want to play this game, you're going to lose it. Hey, listen, I know you, Lieutenant. But you have a problem with the detectives, you call Detective Sergeant. If you have a problem with that, you call Detective Lieutenant. I know who the fuck you think you are. I know who the fuck you think you are. Hey, listen, I know you, Lieutenant. But you have a problem with the detectives, you call Detective Sergeant. If you have a problem with that, you call Detective Lieutenant. I know who the fuck you think you are. Because you want to play this game, you're going to lose it. I'll tell you right now. I know who the fuck you think you are. Save this message and play to whoever you want. Okay? There's a chain of command. If you have an issue with a sergeant, you call my lieutenant. If you have an issue with a detective, you call the sergeant. Don't answer my phone call. I don't give a fuck about you. Wake up.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some of the butter chicken. So thank you.
Freddy